This is the Amp Hour Podcast. Released July 25th, 2021. Episode 551. Feed the Mouse.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
Using StreamYard, we're doing
Yes,
video.
we are.
So
we're
if you want
live.
to watch this, you can look at, where are we? What's the Amp Hour on YouTube? Although we still have two channels, don't we?
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, one of
I don't
them's
think anyone's
like,
seen the old one. We have an old one, but no one's seen that.
technically it exists.
Yeah, so on our Amp Hour, the Amp Hour YouTube every week uploads the audio. So if you just wanted to listen, you could do that. Now we're also going to have a video thing. Well, maybe not every week, but we're trying it for now.
Yep.
And we are featuring, I don't know, the old logo, the old globe
the
logo.
old Cleveland.
Yeah,
Cleveland
and
from
Sydney.
a decade ago.
Connecting
Yep.
around the globe. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's my handiwork right there. So
It was clear. Where did you go after Cleveland? It wasn't. Was it straight to Chicago from
yeah,
Cleveland?
Cleveland to Chicago.
Yeah, it wasn't. Okay. Seems like there was another
It's
one
been
in
5
there
years now.
somewhere.
5 years. 5 years in a month. So
Yep.
and then I'm leaving.
And you officially have your new house.
I do. Yeah, closed up on it.
Congratulations.
And,
Yes.
Thank you.
Though you had a few issues.
I did. Yeah, I'm probably not going to talk about those on the air, but
No.
that it was not real estate. Not my favorite.
All right.
There's some fun stories. If people ever catch me at a meetup, I'll tell some of those at a
Yep.
meetup. Just say you
Right.
want to hear about real estate. But yeah, back into the world of stressing about other things like moving and setting up labs and all that stuff. So
Got it.
yeah,
And all sorts of the crap which we have on our list this week.
we do have a lot of stuff. I got more than this even. What would you like to start with though, Dave?
RIP NTSC.
Rip. Oh, it's dead. That's right.
Yes,
I was
it's-
like,
yeah,
how
it's
do you
dead.
rip
It's
into?
finally dead.
I was thinking you were like talking about like like how you used to like rip YouTube or DVDs or rip audio things,
Right.
and yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
it's gone. It's
gone. Rest in
dead,
peace.
yeah.
NTSC. It's like PAL here in Australia.
Surely you have some stories about NTSC, right? I mean, you must have worked with it at some point, huh?
Yep. Never twice the same color. That's what it stands for.
I've never heard that before.
No,
That's great.
really? You've never heard
No,
that?
I never really dealt with it. I
NTSC.
mean,
Right.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Video. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's NTSC. What's the other one? The other scan. It's like scan type, right? That's kind of like what it refers to.
Yes. Yep. And there's PAL. We
PAL.
didn't use that here. It was PAL. Phased array. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh God, what does the L stand for? PAL.
Lines?
Oh, phased array line or something. God. Now that's embarrassing.
See, now we have to
All
look
right.
it up. We have to look it up on. You're actually people are going to see all of our stuff. I could switch over to Dave searching for stuff now.
Oh, phase alternate line. Of course. Phase alternate line.
Phased array is what
Jeez.
we're going to talk about later with Starlink.
Right.
So.
Yes. Yep.
it was on your brain. It was
boy.
on your brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was. There you go. It's because it's been like 8 years or something. I've done a video when they switched off the PAL system here. Like I was there live watching the TV, watching the telly, watching the idiot box as it went to a dot and then just static,
Nice.
which was great.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a Hackaday article.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing about video and like really just like, CRTs and all the scanning types and stuff like that, it always seemed so magical to me. And I actually really
Yeah.
appreciated it. Someone sat down with me once and just was like, well, no, it's just like a high frequency amplifier. They're just amplifying signals and just going across the screen and stuff like that. And I can't say I still understand it.
There's lots of trickery, especially when you started doing color and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
right,
It was relatively easy when they had just grayscale, black and white, right?
yeah.
But then they had to introduce color while keeping backward compatibility, and it's just absolutely incredible how they did that. And that's how, the different PAL and NTSC differ in the way they implement those sort of things, and how NTSC technically has shittier color and
does it really?
all that sort of yep.
Okay.
Hence the joke. NTSC.
Got it. Yeah, never the
never
same
twice
color,
the same color. Yeah, it's it just implements color differently.
Okay.
So, yeah, and they're complex.
What determined like where PAL was or NTSC? That was just like was that just like
It's
how
a region
power is different
thing.
and different? Okay.
Yep. It's just a regional standard. PAL came from Europe, I believe, and we picked that up here because we're a colony, we're a British colony. So
That's right. We were just talking about that before the show. I've been watching The Crown, and they just got to the part where they're going to Australia. It's great. Oh man, I love that show.
Really, Chris is a monarchist. There you go.
I wouldn't say that, but I am a fan of historical fiction of various types and very large Netflix budgets. So if that makes me a monarchist, I'd say the monarchy in this case is Netflix.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yep. Yeah. I have to admit though, I feel completely dirty. I've given my money to the mouse. I give my money to the mouse. I've got Disney Plus because the kids are so into Star Wars and Marvel stuff. I had no choice but to get bloody Disney Plus, and I've got to admit, geez, they got a lot of shit on there, as in good shit.
Yeah, one of my coworkers at a former job, he used to always talk. I probably mentioned this on the show at some point, but John, one of my former coworkers, love the guy, but every year he would be like, he's like, Chris, I got some bad news. I'm like, John, what's going on? He's like, I'm taking the family on vacation. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad. He's like, no, I gotta go feed the mouse.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
bloody Disney.
I still figure that this is what's finally going to get Dave back to the States again. Is he's going to bring his family to go feed the mouse in Orlando, Florida.
Gotta go
Close
Disneyland.
enough. I'll drive down, hang out, while melt in the Florida sun.
Yeah, it might happen. Yeah, Disneyland. I've been to Disneyland. It's great. I'd love to take the kids, but
Yeah, well.
Yeah, we're locked down at the moment. We ain't going
it's only a little ways away. Yeah, you guys are. Yeah, so.
Well, we always said that we'll wait until they're old enough to actually remember it. So Huxley at the moment's 6, so probably another couple of years. So it might time up well with when the world reopens. Yeah,
that's good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Amp Hour meetup at the Magic Kingdom.
Right. At the Magic Kingdom.
Oh man, I don't think we can afford it. Yeah, they'd be like, well, I guess it would fit in. There's always like the parades with all like the blinking lights and stuff like that, and then you go to nerd meetups and there's all the blinking lights, and they'd be like, oh, that just must be part of the show, I miss meetups. So I actually just came from a meetup. I'm winding down my M-Hub membership because I'm leaving town, and I got to catch their barbecue, and I had a couple conversations. I was meeting with real people in the real world. Oh. What?
Yeah.
Boy, do I miss that.
Novel.
Yeah, very novel, very.
Yep.
Some of it I don't miss. Right. I had some conversations about investment, and I was like, oh, okay. They were fine, but I kind of like what I expected meetups, right?
Yeah.
But
of course.
Mostly it was a bunch of nerds, and I love meeting nerds, and I hope to meet more nerds in North Carolina and do something down there when I'm down there.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was actually interesting because it's like we had some good conversations around just what networking actually means, and we've talked about it here too. It's like I always had this really negative connotation to it, but what I really think about is the stuff I was doing. I was just going and geeking out with other nerds, and then trying to keep in touch with them later, right? So I always try and encourage the introverted among us to at least go bring a project.
Go to meetups. Yep.
Go to meetups. Yeah, that's all. And then keep in touch.
I had to convince quite a few people to go to the meetups that I used to run. Grand total of 2 of them or whatever it was.
But more than 0.
Exactly. And and everyone was glad. They thanked me afterwards. They said, there were some people who were like, oh, I don't know about these. I don't like meeting people. I said, look, just trying to convince them to turn up, and they turned up and they had a great time. And they thanked me. So
I convinced Dave, and Dave convinced them, and so pretty much I'm convincing everyone.
Yeah,
it
is the type of people though. I mean, it's it's fellow nerds. Like I've been to quite a few of the official YouTube meetups, right? Yep. Back when they were a thing, and I just you'd think I'd have something in common with them, but I don't really. Yeah. It's not. I enjoy chatting to people and stuff, but it just isn't the same.
It's not the same energy, right? I mean, it's like
no. It's.
I don't think if you and I were hopping on the horn and talking for the past 11 years about YouTube, it's like that would just kind of run out of steam.
It'd suck,
But I think when you're really into something, and you can talk about it and geek out, and if there's someone brings a project, oh man, I actually forgot to bring a board. I meant to bring a board, but I'm out of practice. So,
okay, right. Oh well.
In the future, yep.
Okay.
So. I guess I'll ask, what are you building these days? Anything?
what am I building? Oh, well, I'm building something on a breadboard at the moment. I'm about to shoot a video after
All
this.
right.
Well, it's a transistor and a relay, dude.
Oh, hey, look, my last
Advanced
breadboard.
stuff.
I can actually show my breadboard. This is the stuff that you
Yeah.
wouldn't see on the, so I'm doing this for, some of my day job stuff. But like, boy,
Yep.
you want to see some dog's breakfast soldering. I did some Vero board. Oh, it's
Oh,
not gonna focus.
focus, you bastard.
It's real bad. It was
Yep,
just like
yep.
the fastest thing I could do. And,
Doesn't
so,
matter
yeah,
as
go
long
watch-
as it works. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the electrons
exactly.
don't care.
No.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
So-
breadboarding, it gets the job done sommes.
Yeah,
As long as
no,
people
no,
know
it totally does.
the restrictions, like relays,
Yes.
slow stuff, no big deal.
Yep.
It's kind of having that
Content.
it's like electronics epochs, right? You need to know like epic. How do you say EPOCH? Is that epic or epoch?
No.
Epic, right?
No. Is this some sort of acronym I'm not aware of?
No, it's like different eras of time. Right?
Oh, epoch, right? As in
Yeah.
as in an era. Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Different era.
like having different
Yeah.
time scales of like electronics of
Yeah.
like human interaction times or computer interaction times or like
Yep.
just kind of having that as a relative measure I think is really important. When I was getting started in electronics, I remember like thinking like, oh, everything's super super fast, but then you go and like interact with you go and interact with like AC power, and you're not going to switch it that fast because you don't need to,
Yep.
or it's really expensive to do that sort of thing. Versus maybe sensor feedback, you might need 30 hertz, but you don't need to try and push it to 3,000 hertz because you probably don't need that level of fidelity. Just kind of like that as like a general knowledge of that sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
And
I
if you're
posted a photo of my relay on the breadboard on Twitter, and
nice.
everyone just assumed, because it was a big hunk, and it's a fairly decent
yeah.
little chunky 10 amp, 240 volt relay. Everyone thought I was going to be putting mains through it. It's like,
yeah.
no. Everyone just, you can't put mains on breadboard. Can't do it. Can't be done. And
You can do it once.
well, yes, you can. No, you actually can. Mains, you could technically, yeah. It actually can be done.
There's the next video after
So-
that, Dave. You just start melting
Right,
some breadboards.
I just
Yeah.
ramp up the voltage until we
yeah.
get arc over on a breadboard.
That's what
And
people love.
Actually, that's probably a quick second channel video. I might do that. I might just
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
far
yeah.
can you ramp up a breadboard between sockets? Yeah, cool. Done.
Cool.
All right.
That's great.
Yep. You didn't ask why am I putting a transistor and a relay
Why are you putting in a transistor and a relay on a board?
transistor
switching?
because I didn't have a time to do this. It was follow on from my previous tutorial video on inductors. Well, I covered capacitors, inductors, and what was the damn video?
I don't know. I've been missing videos lately. I really miss the email subscription on YouTube. I really miss a lot of stuff these days.
All right.
The algorithm is not sending me videos.
Nope. DC circuit transient fundamentals, of course.
Of course.
Transient fundamentals. Geez, it just wouldn't come.
Are you
to my
doing like
mind.
kickbacks and stuff like that for relays?
Yes. Flyback, freewheeling diodes on relay. So
yeah.
I'm going to show the measurement, because the video was already 39 minutes long. So I was going to put a demo at the end of it, but I went, no, that's too long. So I'll save that for a separate one. So I'll show,
That's cool.
how transients happen on relays in inductive kickbacks.
I'm pretty sure that I've been messing with a switching circuit that was powering a Raspberry Pi CM4, and
Yep.
CM4 went kaput.
Ah,
And I'm pretty
right.
sure it was because of the switching circuit in front of it. I think it had, I was already pretty close to the voltage limit on the CM4, and then I
Yep.
think a little bit of spikies. I think I probably put it over the edge.
Is this the one built in, or it's an external one you're using?
This is an
supply.
external power switching circuit
Got it.
that then
Yep.
goes in, because the Pi CM4 takes a 5 volt, and then that bucks it down to 3.3.
Right.
But it don't buck no more. It's it's bucking dead.
Brilliant. Yep. All right.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna say, what will resist high voltages is a plastic microcontroller, Dave. Plastic microcontroller. Ultra minimalist Cortex M0 base stock with 128 bytes of RAM and 456 bytes of ROM. So ARM did a printed circuit basically. They did a full ARM Cortex M0 inside of that.
Okay, I thought you were going to talk about the chip printer thing, which is another
a
link
different
we
thing?
had this week.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
There's
Oh.
there's a chip printer. There's a troll in chip printer is back. Someone's trolling us.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah.
Okay. No, this is actually plastic transistors, which is something that, you can go and read research papers. You can do this for a while. Basically, it's polymer-based transistors, but they actually put it together, enough of them together to make a Cortex M0 Plus? M0? Just an M0.
It's an M0,
with like a bunch of stuff stripped out, and they're calling it the plastic arm, which is, that's super cool.
Okay.
They're talking about this being like the future of IoT and all that stuff, and I'm sure there will be some niche applications for this sort of thing. But what I think about is just the amount of optimization you need to do. Like that is very, they just like the scale differences of where things are going these days. You get like a Cortex A, whatever, that's just like super powerful. You don't care, you care about memory, but do you really care about memory? It's running Linux. It's
right.
It's got all this functionality. And then on the other end is like this, dinky little Cortex M0, and it's super optimized, which there's always been there, but there's still new frontiers.
It's a 4-bit version. I thought the M0 was like 32-bit.
I think they probably had to really mess with things,
Then it's not an M0 anymore, is it? It's a something else. They'd have to call it something else, wouldn't they?
I couldn't tell you what defines an M0. I figured it would be a register set kind of thing that would define an M0 more than
maybe, but the register set is going to vary based on the architecture, right? And if you just suddenly change it from
I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Anyway, It's got 2,300 transistors in it. It was fabricated at 10 micron process technology.
No. I see what you're reading wrong here. Oh, we can zoom in. It says the first commercially produced processor was a modest 4-bit CPU with 2,300 transistors.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm out of date. Am I? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, I didn't.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so they're talking about the 4004 or something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Silly me.
10 micron.
Yeah.
Try and get one of those made these days. 10 micron where they're actually still like, the width of a human hair.
Yep.
But anyways, so they're doing plastic-based transistors, and
yes,
yeah, it's pretty neat.
All right.
Research papers, right? But maybe this is moving us towards printable
chip printer. Nope. Nope. Sorry. So whoever was trolling us on about the chip printer thing, nope. No, I'm still going to stand by it. 20 years time. What you'll still be buying on DigiKey and Mouser and Farnell's is your regular silicon.
I mean, the startup thing. So like this is the trolley one is referencing a super research kind of thing. It's like there's going to be stuff like this for a while, right? They're going to be referencing.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I think there are some, it's moving it towards commercialization and viability is more interesting to me as well, much to Dave's delight. So. Yeah.
It'll be a niche for foreseeable future. For the rest of my career, I think it'll be a niche.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's my prediction. I'm saying 20 years. I'm saying in 20 years, we still will be getting silicon.
I just figured you're going to retire in 5 years or something.
Yeah, right.
The rest of your career. Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, folks. If there is a chip printer, Dave will retire that day.
Right. Okay. Yes, I will retire.
I will eat my hat.
Oh boy. Yep. Yeah. Nah. I was right. I was right 10 years ago, and damn it, I'm still going to be right in another 10 years' time. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well,
10 years seems like about the time it'll take for the supply chain to iron itself out. There was a post on the EV blog forum about this.
There is.
Saying all their posts are on hold, and yeah, I feel it, man.
All their posts, no, all their projects are on hold.
Sorry. Yeah, yes, that's right.
This is RX8 Pilot.
Mm-hmm.
RX8. Oh, don't share my screen. Yeah, share yours.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
cool.
mine's got IP.
I'm not logged
in. So it shows extra info.
We don't need to show any ads here either.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I've got to pay the bills somehow.
Hey, man, whatever. You do you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Says the amp hour who takes advertising.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, RX-8 Pilot says, we will quote, "I love electronics and I do it for fun and for a living. The sad part is that current state of the supply chain is so draining that I am dreading any electronics work. Of the 3 major professional projects I've been working on for over a year, all are on indefinite hold." He first tried part substitutions, but then altering the design based on parts. But at some point, he was just figured he was just chasing his tail with zero guarantee of production quantities. So it kills the bottom line and destroys his interests. How many small businesses are turning into dust with these problems? Anyone looking for a career change right now? So he's like, he's really
that is a good point. I mean,
like,
I think some of it is like, I've had thoughts about this of just, it is a good time to be working on firmware versus hardware, right? Just because you can always keep improving firmware, right? There's always more to do.
But what's it going to run on? What is your magic firmware going to run on when you can't?
That's a good question. The dev boards, or right? Yeah.
Because micros are the things that have been hit. One of the things that's been hit the most. I don't think there's anything that's been harder hit than micros, is there?
But I think I think there's just I was just talking to someone at the meetup about this, and they said like once the stuff that you thought was out of stock, that came back, and then just something else disappears.
You're right. Okay. Yep.
One of the people I talked to said that they were paying like 30 cents for a part, and they just had to get through their production run, and they were paying $28 for that same part.
$28 for the same part.
$28. I mean, it's just like, and
wow.
Okay. I mean, like.
Yep. Well, if you have to, it's better. I
what's
was
the
actually
cost
discussing
of not doing it, right?
Well, that's right. And I was discussing this on another thread on the EV blog forum. Pretty sure it wasn't this one. And I've actually got that's going to be a video. I was going to work on it yesterday, but things happened, and I've got a list in front of me. It's one of my rare things where I've got a list of different. I'm going to show different strategies for actually designing things and modifying your products to avoid part shortages and things like that.
Right. Well, and some of them are full redesigns, right? That sucks.
Oh
right?
yeah, some are, but yeah. So what I was discussing with somebody on the forum. Sorry, I forget who it is, but. I suggested possibly that a mod board or something like that with a different type of chip, or even shipping a replacing the part. He could replacing the part with a smaller spec version. So it was a micro and it had 2 gig of memory. It was a really high end micro. Yeah. And I said, but he said you can get the 1 gig version. And I said, well, why do if you can modify your software so it just squeezes into 1 gig, so it fits, so you can ship something and then put it on a daughter board. So then later you can actually send for free to your customers an upgrade board with the 2 gig part on it, and then it's all good. And he said, no, that's possible, but it's likely cheaper to just go to the grey market and pay 10 times the price for the 2 gig chip than it is to design the daughter board and plug it in.
What is the cost of an upgrade? What is the cost of a customer reinstalling something? What is the cost of a failure? Right, all of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the case of going from 2 gigs of flash or 2 gigs of RAM?
2 gigs of, I assume that's flash.
Okay, so in that case specifically, going from 2 gigs of flash to 1 gig of flash, right? That's significant, but that might actually prevent you from not being able to store an additional firmware image in there for like a firmware upgrade. So you might lose firmware upgrade. There's not much that would make you get rid of that, right? I mean, like
no, that's right. That kills your product functionality. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But there's all these things that may not work for someone else, but that might be the solution for someone else's project. So
yeah, I think you definitely got to be creative in this scenario. You gotta really. It sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, I've got listed like 7 different things you can do.
Okay.
It's much more flexible, of course, if you're at the design stage than if you're if your product's already made and it's already shipping, or you've got 1,000 of them in stock and you've got to or you've got 1,000 blank boards or whatever, and you've got to ship them. And
that sucks.
Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, we agree with RX-8 Pilot. This is it. It is not fun right now, and it's tough to tell someone to like get into electronics. Maybe if you could get a dev board and get some sensors, like maybe make things more modular. Oh, Dave's got a visitor in his background.
I've got a visitor.
Person is here. Yeah.
You won't see them.
See, people think Dave's this, gruff gruff engineer. He's just this friendly neighborhood employer.
That's it.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
it.
Yeah. There goes your rep, Dave. Ha ha. Yeah.
I've expanded. I've officially got my storage unit. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, I've seen photos of that. That's exciting. So how much crap do you have in there?
I've got some at the moment. Have you seen my infinite ring of power? My infinite power ring?
The thing on the floor that was like batteries or something?
No, they're actually double adapters. They're mains double adapters.
Oh, got it.
Yep,
Okay.
and I've got like
Yeah.
330 of them or something. And I put them into an infinite ring. So we'll...
Why do you have that many? Do you have that many PowerPoints that you could, or is this just you collecting over time?
No, I actually saved them from the dumpster. They were in the dumpster. So...
Saved them from the dumpster. I think he failed to put them out of their misery. That's what he's really saying here, folks.
I'm going to do a video on it because I want to know, can you actually power something through 330 double adapters?
Like, what's the drop?
What is the drop?
Yeah,
I
right.
want to. I need to know.
That's a good point, actually.
I need to know.
Yeah.
How many power boards can you string together? I'm going to find out. So
Yeah.
it's great. Anyway, so that can be the name of this episode, the infinite power ring, infinite power ring or something.
The Ring of Fire. Yes, it would be the Ring of Fire.
Anyway, and it can be the profile photo for this. It can be the thumbnail.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got it.
All right, cool. All right, what else we got? Come on.
What else is on this list that I liked? The Luna.
Luna.
Yeah, so this is a new project that's out there. This is made by former guests of the show, Great Scott Gadgets. So Michael Osman from Great Scott Gadgets has been on the show, and some of the other employees have been there too. This is pretty cool. This is still fundraising. I've heard about this for a while, and it's basically like a USB analyzer using the open source toolchain on a Lattice. I think it's an ECP5. I guess I could show everyone this.
It's a LFE 5U12F, whatever the heck that is. That's the number on the front.
I don't know which one that is.
Yep.
I figured that might be the ECP5. Anyways, it uses the open toolchain, which we've talked about a ton on the show before. And so if you're looking to get into FPGAs, this would be a good fit. This $99 board, so reasonable, not cheap, not super expensive. But the real thing is if you're doing, I've always been like kind of afraid to dig into like to do a super custom USB. I kind of just always
it's a pain in the ass.
hook up D plus, D minus, and just cross my fingers and hope for the best, right? Because if something doesn't enumerate or if it doesn't,
or you just end up using serial. You just end up using an RS-232 USB to serial, an FT232 chip or something, because it's just it's just totally familiar. You can look at the packets on a scope. It's just like
right.
Although you can do
so
that
when something
for USB.
goes wrong in that case,
it's just easier.
Right. Yeah, and Jay Carlson on YouTube, on Twitter had mentioned that there are some capabilities for inspecting packets as they come into like Linux and stuff like that. But if you're not doing Linux, if say you're doing like a small embedded device, but you also want it to have USB, this is basically like this is effectively a man in the middle kind of not attack, but like a analyzer, right? So it's basically you're talking to one side of this thing, it's passing the packet through, but also reading it and pushing it out the other side.
Yep.
And so in that way, as you push through some bad packets or whatever, it'll help you to analyze it.
Is it just an analyzer, or can you modify packets and send them out?
I believe there's a way to modify as well.
Right, so you can do like a man in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And does it use? I'm trying to find the software here. Okay. No, I see the software. Okay, it's actually got
Meddler in the middle.
Right.
Got it.
Right,
Yep.
so it actually has custom software which displays all your packets and whatnot, hex interface. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool bananas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think this is going to be a great toolkit. I think about my ABC board. That's got some USB. I've had some USB problems on that before.
Yep.
And I think at the purely physical layer, you'll still need to. I'm not sure how much capability there is for say you had like a stub trace on one of your USB lines and it was really impacting it. But it's USB 3.0 would matter more than 2.0, right?
Oh, this does not do signal integrity. This is not going to tell you that you've got a signal integrity problem.
Eye diagram.
No. This is just packet based. Yep.
But what they talk about is the Beagle 480 and the LaCroix Mercury. So these are basically tools you can buy off the shelf. You can buy from Keysight, LaCroix, Beagle. They're all these tools that basically allow you to do it, but they're expensive and they compare and contrast further down.
I've actually got one. I've got a USB analyzer, and it's
Oh, you do?
thousands of dollars worth. Yeah, some company sent it into
Yeah.
the mailbag for review or something, but it's
I see.
like thousands
Got
of
it.
dollars, and the software's complex that comes with it. So, and will this only do USB 2, or does it do up to USB 3? I think it's only 2. Yeah, because doing USB 3 is really hard.
Yeah, I think it's 2 up to high speed though, so the 480. Oh, they have it on here. There's
They
a chart.
do up to the 480 USB 2, right? Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, which would be the expense of the Beagle 480, which is
Yeah.
like $1,300.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Cool. Yeah, no, it's nice that there's a lower cost solution. How much is this going to cost? It's $149 for the kit. 109
With a
That's
case,
with a
yeah.
funky case, but it's only
That's
it's under $100 for that's that's very impressive for a USB tool. And it's all open sourcey, is it? Is it all?
that's
Yep.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So and if
Nice.
you're doing stuff with the FPGA stuff, you can use some of the software on there. Face Dancer, that's I think Kate's software, or is that maybe Micah's software? I don't remember. Luna. Luna is some of the other stuff that they have from Great Scott. So they have like their plug-in boards. So it's like the Great Scott 1 or something like that.
Right.
Anyways, they have a whole suite of boards out there. But this is I think it's gonna be good. We'll see how it goes. It lasts until the 26th of August. So get it now
Excellent.
while it's hot.
Yep. Nice. I like it. Winner, chicken dinner.
What have you used that one you've had on site?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
I've had to use it. So, and yeah, they're complicated beasts. So it's like, that's why I don't blame anyone for avoiding anything to do with USB unless you're converting it to RS-232 or something like that. And you don't need
That's
to
right.
unless your product needs the data rate. You're actually better off just using an FT232 chip and converting it to serial. Seriously, like it'll just make your life much easier.
Yeah.
Unless I guess you do USB all the time and then it's just bread and butter stuff for you and it's so easy for you. But I would not recommend the average person, if they just need to transfer like console type data or something like that from their product via the USB, then yeah, RS-232 is just easier. And then on the other end, you can use a terminal, and then the customer can just use a terminal program. They don't have to, have any sort of custom software, because once you're using USB, like actual USB protocol, then you have to have custom software. There's no generic USB software that I'm aware of that you can you can't just extract a text string out of it or something. It just isn't something that you can do.
I'm going to be out of my depth here, but I know that like if you do USB to serial, you will need, say you want to load up new firmware, you have to have a bootloader on the micro at least.
Yeah, if you want to do firmware update over USB.
Yeah. I was just going to say if you have new USB native, I think you might be able to push stuff without, you need, like you said, you need software on the host side.
But you can do both. You can. There's no reason why you can't do both. If you've got a micro that supports firmware updating over USB, which some of them do, right? You just put like there's a pin that you can strap when you power on or whatever, and that'll put it into bootloader mode, right? Some of them will do it via serial, but others will do it via USB, I believe. So there's no reason why you can't put an FT232 in parallel with that as well, and then feed that into the serial pins of your micro. There's no reason why you can't do both, I don't think. I'm sure people will correct me, but I reckon that's possible. I reckon you can have your cake and eat it too there. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Speaking of FPGAs, you had posted this link. I started reading it. I didn't get too far in it, but the FPGA designer who didn't get a job. So what was this?
Scroll right to the end.
Okay.
That just gives you the skinny.
Okay.
Well, let me
The
me
bottom
pull it up.
line. If you aren't interested in learning using formal methods, my recommendation. Okay, I see. So basically, this was someone that was looking to hire a young engineer, and he basically the stuff I had read so far is that he was kind of putting him to the test, and
He was testing him. Yes.
yeah, and that young engineer kind of just opted out and said, "Nah, this isn't for me," or said, "I'm not into this sort of thing." that sort of.
Yes. Well, he was doing it on behalf of a client, the client, because he was the FPGA expert for a client, right? And the client doesn't know about hiring FPGA people, right?
Right. Yeah. So he was like a front-facing kind of thing, and
he was a front-facing, so he was like weeding out, the people, and he does FPGA tutorials as well. You know, you can buy and courses. You can buy his courses and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
And so he teaches FPGA fundamentals and processes, the proper processes. That's his thing, you know, is that he's all about proper processes for development, for hardware development, right? And FPGA and digital development, right? Yeah, he had someone who he deliberately had an example where it was faulty and the person had to debug it and fix it, right? They had to fix this faulty VHDL example or Verilog or whatever it was, you know, had to fix this example. And they deemed that to be doing, the person rejected doing it, refused to do it because they wanted to do design work, in quote marks, and they thought that this was verification work, that this was, you know, actually beneath them. That, you know, without realizing that this was a test, you know, look, no, you'll get a real design work. I'm testing that you can do this sort of stuff because it's important. And this digital designer who advertised themselves as a specific digital designer didn't want to do this verification and fixing work.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I think some of it is like, you know, there's definitely some ego in here and there's expectations in here. And
totally.
I'll be honest, like coming out of school, I thought I was going to be like designing all new things, right? And it's just like, some of that's just, that was bad expectations, right? It was like, you know, Chris is going to go and look for a job as a design engineer and it's in the title, so I should be able to design stuff, right? But
design stuff and
who was I was talking to someone recently that was talking about like, you know, just the amount of time that you're actually doing design versus something else. It's minuscule, you know, like it's just all, especially in a corporate job where there's overhead and meetings and everything else. That's just not a big part of what you do, unfortunately. You see, first off, I think it's like you should cherish it, and in this case, like I think it's the
full
stuff,
experience.
Yeah, the stuff that leads up to it too is like you need to be able to test. You need to be able to test your own work, let alone, you know, someone else's work. And
and in this particular case, you need to be able to debug something and get it working. I mean, and that's if this person refused to do that. They just went, no, I'm a design engineer. I don't do verification and debugging. It's like, well, okay.
Right. It's like, does your design work the first time every time? Like, I wish,
exactly.
I wish someone would have told me that like just the importance of debugging. You know, like it's a tough thing to, you know, like the debugging is its own skill, right? It's its own thing, and some people are very good at it, and young Chris was not, and current Chris is a little better. You know, and it's more logical than I would have guessed too, right? It's more like it's more of a controlled process. Like I think the best debuggers are the people that have seen a lot of things, obviously, right? The olds like yourself, Dave.
Yep. I was a boy.
That's right, yeah. So I think seeing a lot of things is really important. I think being maybe not regimented, but like being calm. Like for me, I still freak out sometimes, and that kind of thrashing is just not that useful. So like having kind of a process, your own process, whatever it is important, and then doing logical deductions from that. It's more like a Sherlock Holmesian than anything else, right? You know, trying to make logical connections based on that. So.
Unfortunately, debugging is also one of those things. I've covered this in many of my repair videos as well. It's also repair.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Repair and debugging, same thing. Yeah, you know, really, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Same sort of mindset.
I think the only difference is you actually touch the soldering iron to it at the end.
Right, you actually physically. Yeah. Well, you have to do that with debugging as well. You've got to hack things. You've got to get. Okay, I don't have any. The best way to debug this is to solder a lead onto a pin and then change the firmware so it flashes this when it goes into routines and stuff like that. You know,
right.
Or hook on an LCD. I wouldn't be the first person who, to debug something, has hacked in an LCD and then added some LCD code to my project, and then because then it can output strings. You know, it can output you can do that on a serial port, and then your scope. I just think like a little LCD.
Sure, it's more the turnaround time might be faster, might be more heads up kind of thing. So yeah, that's great.
Yep. Or you might build that in from the start.
Sure.
You might build that in from the start if you're a designer who goes, oh, yeah, it'll be handy to have like a secret pins on there. You got spare pins. Oh, take them to a header. That goes off to an LCD or something and, you know.
Yeah. Someone was talking about that with like the first thing they do on a digital project. It might have been on Embedded FM or someone like that, somewhere like that. But they talked about the first thing they do in an embedded project is they create their own console so that you basically can set up console commands from there. And I just like never really thought to do, but that's a great idea. You know, just have it respond over serial. You know, you can always do output, but why not take some input too, right? Actually have some standardization there.
Although, when I was a boy, you often didn't have the luxury of that because you're designing for a low memory footprint micro, like a PIC 16F84. It might have 1 or 2K of memory, and just including the SPRINF function so that you can output a serial string that uses 1K of memory just for the SPRINF function.
I was gonna say we're past those days, but then I was like, oh, actually, we talked about plastic controllers at the beginning. So like those people that are debugging that, they're screwed. You know, like. So.
You can't do it, and you'll learn the hard way. Geez, you know these routines that do these trivial things take up a lot of space.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Anyway, I was what was I talking about? I was mentioning that during the repair debug process, I still can't remember what I'm going to say. I'm just waffling until I know it's going to pop into my head.
That's okay. I got something to say. So I think another thing is something that obviously comes up on your channel and other channels is like I think having a solid grasp of testing tools as well, right? I mean, I think that having maybe your favorites, but like the presence of mind to be able to walk up to a couple different types of test equipment. Maybe you don't own it, but maybe you can navigate menus, right? That might be something that just trying to figure these things out is an important skill set as well. And then maybe having your own tools that you go back to each and every time as well.
Yep.
Right? So that sort of thing.
I agree.
How do we do, Dave?
And often you can rent tools. Yes, I do remember what I was going to say.
Great, yeah.
When you're debugging or repairing stuff like this, sometimes too much knowledge is a bad thing.
Sure.
Like because your mind will just go, oh, it can't possibly be. You can't. It's very difficult for an experienced design engineer, an experienced repair person, to go from, to actually follow strict process from first thing is I'll smell, right? Something like that. And but anyway, go through a strict process, right?
Oh man, all these interruptions here.
Sorry, the phone's ringing, and it's
fine.
It's okay. It's just
I think you don't have to have strict process, but I think one of the things that I think about is do whatever you want. Maybe you're past having strict process, but I think one like process thing would be to track your changes, right? So for me, the thing that has been a centering force in my life is just to write a stream of consciousness journal every time I'm doing it. Like, here's what I tried. Did it work? No. Did it work? No.
Yep.
Right? And that kind of thing, it doesn't have to be regimented of like, first you check the power, then you check the serial bus, then you check
the thing. But you can, as I was saying, the more experience you get, the more things that you will tend to skip because your mind is going, no, it can't possibly be that. But sometimes you're going to come a gutser and it will be that. It will be that in a subtle way that you haven't encountered before. And, so you can spend days, hours, days, weeks actually debugging something because you skipped a simple step that you thought was so simple it can't possibly be that. But it was in some other, often obscure way.
I feel like then a healthy kind of check on yourself is like one thing that I try and tell myself when I am in it deep up to here, as you can see if you're watching the video, is check your assumptions, right? That's always the big one to go back to, right? So, and like literally listing them out too. That's another one. Like I assume that serial is running at 19200 or 96, and like
exactly.
And sometimes that's like rubber duck debugging
measure
kind of too. Yeah, right, exactly.
I've done that many times. Why isn't my scope decoding this serial string? I've got it set to the right baud rate. And then when you finally you get desperate enough that you go in there and actually measure the time and calculate the actual clock rate, and you go, oh geez, it's the wrong baud rate. It's like
you're like looking around, you're like, oh, nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. It's cool.
Nobody saw it. I spent hours on this and stuff like that, or some things, when you enter the hardware, this doesn't happen in the software. Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't happen in the software realm, because it could under some obscure circumstances. Intermittent faults. Is there such a thing as an intermittent software fault? I can kind of imagine a scenario where it might be possible where your compiler might give you a different result each time. Although, but you can also have hardware problems manifest themselves as intermittent software problems. But I'm talking about, assuming the hardware's perfect. You shouldn't.
Like, is a machine completely repeatable every single time?
Yes, every single time.
Yeah,
yes.
that's interesting.
Or, you're getting cosmic rays bombarded, or you get electromagnetic.
Well, all of those things that are
EMI
like
interference
random
and stuff.
Is it always hardware then? That is the randomness, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, is the answer. Yes, it's it's going to be.
It's always our fault, Dave.
I guess. Yep. Us hardware designers. Yeah. But like sometimes, in the hardware realm, especially in the repair realm, I've done a video where I went through my methodical process. I tested the power supplies. They're all fine. It turns out it was the power supply. It was just an intermittent problem with a diode bridge after it heated up. The little bond wire inside the diode would lift off, and then it would half rectify, and then it would cause the rail to drop. And but you didn't see that because you measured it.
Yeah.
And unless you're continually measuring it, that's where, like, I ended up using 2 scopes, I think. I ended up having, like, 8 channels or something, just measuring all the different rails at once.
Yeah.
Just continuously monitoring them. And sure enough, one of them eventually dropped out, I think.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to being methodical, tracking your progress, documenting after the fact. And to give myself my own segue here, documentation. Holy crap. Did you see this thing? The embedded resume.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Man,
embedded resume. Yeah.
I saw this thing on, I think it was on Reddit or similar.
I saw it on Twitter, I think.
Yeah, someone was trying to get a job. I don't know if he has in the meantime. Basically, he built a thing as a resume item, and then he called it embeddedresume.com. And it's great.
Does the thing actually do anything? It actually doesn't matter. The point is, it doesn't matter if it does anything or not.
Well, I think it does because he was trying to do like fully capable, it has software on it and stuff like that. But I think if you truly documented your failures as well, that could be its own thing. But this is Aaron Force.
Did the resume? I wonder if the resume idea came like, I'm going to build this for my resume, or whether or not he just built it and then went, oh, that's a great resume thing.
I just assume that he's currently listening to the Amp Hour, and he hears us talk about as projects as a resume builder, and I assume.
Who is it?
Aaron Vorse, his name is. Aaron Vorse is on the top of the thing here. Yeah.
Yep, great. And we've mentioned this countless times over the years. And I've mentioned in my videos countless times is that the best thing you can do is publish your stuff.
I think it's changed, right? I mean, like, there's how many magazines are there to publish in these days? But this is self-published, right?
There's actually there are still
Who reads
magazines
those,
out there.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a way to get it out there.
It doesn't matter.
You're right. Yeah.
Right? The fact that you get published in there is the point. You can put it on your resume.
Right? Okay. All right. I think we're going to agree to disagree.
No?
I think
not a fan?
I mean, I think that this has as much value as anything. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this is
it does,
more
but
in-depth
anyone,
thing.
But technically anyone can publish anything on their own website, right? It can be garbage.
Nobody knows your dog on the internet. Is that the the joke
exactly.
you're hearing here?
Yeah, but if you get it published in one of the respected trade magazines, then you're it's vetted by your peers, right?
Guess so.
So it's not guess so. It is.
I mean,
right?
it is, but it's like
it's been vetted.
It has been vetted, but I put my faith in myself, Dave.
You're not going to win this.
Not some external entity.
No, but I'm talking about appearances from what other experienced people in the industry. Oh, they'll go, oh, it's published. Like, anyone can whack something on their website.
I mean, but
and it could be
We're publishing about this right now. I'm just saying that, like, this has
greater
reach than a
well, no, it does, but
it's
not about reach. It's about credibility also. Right, which is what I'm talking about. If you've been published in one of the journals, that has, in my opinion, that has more credibility than just publishing on your own website. Or it can. It depends on the person, right? It depends on the person who's reading your resume, right?
Sure. What do you think, folks?
Sorry, but that's I know for a fact that I would be slightly more impressed if you went to the effort to get something published in a magazine than if you just put it on your website. I'm still going to be impressed that you put it on your website. Fantastic. You're still better than 99% of the other applicants.
I would say this has a benefit of having more in-depth. You can go deeper here, right? You can have
Of course you can.
more depth
Of course you can. I'm not saying
knowledge.
that. I'm not saying that it's more in depth because it's published. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it has
So Dave's into
a bit
gatekeepers.
more credibility.
That's what he's saying. Gatekeepers are important, and once you get past them,
No, they
I think
have
what Dave's
an extra
really
layer
saying
of credibility.
here is,
Come on.
I got published in magazines, and I want people to think
No.
magazines are it.
I can't believe you're actually arguing this.
I'm not.
that
I'm
to
specifically saying
to
magazines.
some people potentially.
What about like Hackaday or Hackster or equivalent?
Oh, they'll publish anything, right? Well, they just they're just blogs that republish other blogs, right? They just like link
Magazines
to your
are
blog and
just
go, hey, this
things
is cool.
that publish what people send in to be published.
Yes, but they actually test the projects and they vet the articles.
So what people
and
could see
everything.
here
Dude,
is me
I
making
can't
my
believe you're arguing this.
I'm not into it.
Fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's it.
I know for a fact that there are people out there who will add more credibility that you've been published in a magazine or you've been published in the IEEE or you've been
wait a
published.
second. We didn't say IEEE.
No. You can't suddenly just raise the bar, dude.
You were talking
No.
about like hobby. I mean, my
You've been
voice is giving out.
arguing.
Yeah. If it's
No,
like an
you've been
IEEE
arguing.
journal, are you saying like a journal?
No, well, now he's going. Oh, yes, there is a bar, but it's got to be really high.
I'm just saying
It's
that's
like,
different
come on,
than a
dude.
that's different than a
No.
magazine. It's
No,
all right.
come on.
All right.
Nah, bullshit. Right? So you admit that there are people out there who will think that getting published in IEEE is more credible. There are employers out there who will think that's more credible getting published in the IEEE than having it on your website.
I will admit that.
You have to agree. You've just made that argument.
don't
so
have to
therefore,
agree, but
I'm
I do.
also making that argument. Yeah. I'm making the argument that there are also people out there who will say the same thing for getting it published in a magazine as well.
Okay.
They will be more impressed. It's just a fact. Sorry, dude. I know people like this.
Now time for my truism test. There are people out there who
Okay.
agree that the depth of a website are going to have more interest and
I am one of them. I totally agree with you.
in-depth analysis than a magazine.
I totally agree with you.
All right.
That is not. It's a different argument.
It is.
It's a
But-
different argument.
but
Of course, you can publish more on
But
your.
like you said, like there's people
website.
out there. Of course, there's people out there. There's people out there that think everything.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yep. I'm talking
Anyways.
about credibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Credibility.
Yep. Dude, I can't believe you even. In the end, I got you. In the end, you
Yes.
finally agreed that there was credibility, that there was an issue involving credibility. And I'm not saying that this guy's thing is not credible. I think it's fantastic that he's published on this. And yes, it would be infinitely better than if it was published in a magazine. It looks there's much more greater information like available for this thing. And it's fantastic.
Yep.
Yep. But he could also get it published in a magazine.
He also could get it published in a magazine. That is correct. So you heard it here first, Aaron. Get this printed on dead tree or else.
Actually, no. In this particular case, I don't see any value to getting it published in a magazine. It's just not a magazine project,
Yeah.
really.
Got
It's
it.
not, it's...
Got it. Okie dokie. Well, Aaron,
Yeah.
we love your project, and I'm interested in this as a I think we've talked about portfolios on here a lot before. I think this is interesting because it's a specific. It's got its own URL, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just
Why
like
not? It's only a couple of bucks
aaronforrest.com,
for a
but
URL.
yeah, right.
Just have a dedicated... That's kind of the novel thing about this. Like, I've seen stuff like this before, but it's on their website with dozens of other projects. You know, it's just yet another project, whereas this
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
is specifically
standalone nature of
targeted
it.
and marketed
Yeah.
as an online resume.
That's right.
you know?
And somewhere
So-
on this site, I forget where it is, but he actually talks about which companies he's targeting as well. So he's specifically sending it to like a SpaceX
Yep.
or I forget who else he
Yep.
sent it to. But it was some big names. But it's yeah.
Oh, okay. He's mentioned who he sent it to, and he's talked about the journey and stuff like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's also penalised it for production and
Yeah. Yep.
it's a complete turnkey thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's cool.
it's it's from go to woe. It's very cool. Yeah, but yeah, so the novel aspect of this is really the marketing.
Yeah, I think
that
so.
it's specifically, which is great. Like, it's a great idea. I just got the idea. Could there be like a central website, electronicsresumes.com or something, where you publish your project, and it's like that is the place to publish. But you can just do it on your own website. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it on like a Hackster or Hackaday.io as well, right? I mean,
So
yeah.
if you did this, let's just assume you set up a website like that and everyone publishes their projects on there, this is what I can do. Then that could be a central source potentially. If you're looking for people,
Yes.
you go to this one site and you look through, okay, I need one with, FPGA skills. So you look through the category of FPGAs.
Yeah, it's like
These are
tagged
the
with
projects.
that,
And
yeah.
I go, oh, I really like that project. I'm going to contact that person. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, do you pull the projects down though when they're not looking? I mean,
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's possible that could be a thing. But
I don't know. I feel like marketplace systems too, like they always kind of get
Right.
not bastardized, but they get like you lower the value, right? So if you publish something like this by itself on your own, maybe just on your own site, chrisgamble.com or alternate zone, whatever the old site you had, right? Like that's kind of a standalone thing. It like lives there. But if it's now like one project among 1,000 and they get like intrinsically compared, right? And so that's
Yep.
maybe a little bit less valuable, right?
It's less valuable, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
I agree. Cool. Anyway, we like it.
Yes.
One thing I don't like, can I tell you something I don't like?
Dave, what don't you like? Tell me.
This gets the loser product of the year award.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
don't
switch.
like
We're gonna
these.
switch to Dave's screen here.
Oh, hang on. Are we? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Oh yeah, this thing. This is great.
This just no. This is no. It is not great. This is absolute bullshit.
It is.
I hate this.
It's
a home. It's the Illume.
Lume.
Illume, is that the company?
I don't know. Yeah.
ELLUME. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's COVID-19 home test.
Yeah.
Right? And
Which
it's a
by itself,
little
fine,
electronic
right, yeah,
stick.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, fine. Right? Home test, right? And it's a little plastic thing, gizmo thing.
Yeah.
Of course, it's got an app, right?
course.
Which actually connect. And of course, they want all the permissions in the world, and they will
That's right.
report you to the government if you test positive.
That's right.
Right? And
Right. They'll geolocate you.
Beside all that, right? Yeah. They'll geolocate you, and they'll come around.
Right.
And, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like the guys in ET will come and like bust in your home and put you in the tubes
It's
and
just like the scene in E.T.,
Yep.
which is, they come around like you're an alien and you've got,
How much of our audience
tested
hasn't seen
positive.
ET at this point?
E.T., I don't know. Anyway, maybe, because it's, it's like, 30 years old or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, at least.
E.T.'s like more, 35 or something. So, anyway, he's going to look it up. Anyway, right, the thing I hate about this is that it's single-use disposable.
Yes.
Right?
So this is a $40 test.
It's a $40 test. I don't care about the price, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's single use, it's a plastic thing. Yes, it has a coin cell battery in it. It's got a, what is it? It's got a Nordic Semiconductor NRF 52810 for
Yeah.
those playing along at home. So it connects via the Bluetooth to your phone
Yep.
and everything.
That's the low end of that family, right?
Yep.
So the 840 is what I
Yeah,
got on my
right.
board. That's like
It's the cheap
more,
thing.
yeah, right.
Yep.
The 810s is in
But
the
it's a
cheaper stuff.
single-use disposable thing, and the thing that I find really annoying with this, if there was no other way to do it, okay, maybe you can make the argument that well you have to,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the fact of the matter is, all it does, there's many of these things. There's ones with little LCDs and stuff like that that pop up, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
people have torn these down before, and they're really annoying.
Yeah, Foon on Twitter did the pregnancy test.
Yeah,
we covered that.
That's it. The pregnancy test
Yeah.
one. Yeah, we've covered that, and this is doing the same thing. There's a test strip inside there, right?
Yeah.
People who are watching the video version can see this. The test strip, and I presume all it does is like shines a LED through that
That's
to
right.
determine which
Yeah.
color it turns or whatever. I don't know the exact details, but yeah, you don't need the electronics. You could have just had the stick, which with a paper sheet that said, or instructions that just say,
If it's
it
pink,
turns red,
it's-
you're
yeah, it's-
positive. If it's
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally redundant.
So the question is,
imagine
why do it, right? Why do they
Right,
do
no,
this?
yeah, it's because marketing, because they can.
I think marketing is
right?
one thing, and I think margin is the other. I think you can charge.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's $40 for this test.
So this board probably costs $1, right? Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like all
Maybe,
the overhead.
you know.
Whereas how much can you charge for a paper strip? Like $10? I don't know. Like I don't know what
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
be.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. The margin's probably larger.
yeah, it's, you
That-
can
that's right.
you differentiate, like Dave said, like that would be the marketing side, and then the margin you can charge for
Yep.
$40, you might be making $30 a test, but
And then you can harvest everyone's info too, because
That
the
too,
app
right,
wants
yeah.
every permission on the planet, right?
right, exactly.
So yeah,
yeah,
it's disgusting. Just imagine
yeah, connected devices, huh? Ugh.
you're part of this evil world, Chris.
I'm not part of this, man. This is I couldn't do this. This is
Yeah, but you're part of this Internet of Things.
this isn't internet. I mean, this
bloody,
is a
you know,
phone is
well,
the
I
internet
know,
part,
it's
right? I
not-
mean, like,
it's-
yes,
I
I mean,
know,
there
yeah,
is
I know.
possible you could
Yeah.
do nasty stuff regardless, but it's on.
Yep.
You know, you could.
Just the thing that pisses me off is that it's not required at all. The electronics is totally redundant.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And imagine the embodied energy.
And we love useless electronics around here, right? We
Yeah,
love silly
farty
things,
novelty
right?
gadgets,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Right. But at least you can use them more than once. Generally,
Yeah, right.
You know, they're not disposable. I can understand like disposable things that have really important uses, like those balloon things, the weather balloon.
Oh,
which
sure.
Well, I've published on my videos, and you can get once again, you can get like a starter kit. I think I titled my video kits. My video is starter kits are falling from the sky. They're literally
great.
falling from the sky, like a starter kit, and a microcontroller kit lands in the backyard.
Yep, yep.
But there's absolutely no need for this. And imagine the embodied energy which goes into producing this, to producing the battery, the semiconductors, the PCBs, the plastics, and everything else. Every component on here has a massive supply chain. And all the embodied energy that goes into producing all these supply
Not to
chains.
mention, this is why you
Like-
can't get a 52810. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going into these bloody disposable
Yeah.
single-use
Right.
test strips. Yeah, piss off.
Yeah, that
like
sucks.
that absolutely sucks. I hate it.
Yep.
It's disgusting. Yep,
Yeah.
calling it out.
Rawr.
Yep, these actually should be banned.
interesting.
I believe they should be banned. I am as libertarian pro freedom as you get, but I think this is a disgusting product that should not. I can't see a use case. I can't see, maybe because it automatically contacts the authorities, but then you got the whole authoritarian, tracking
Sure.
issue involved in that. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm against that as well.
Sure,
So it's
sure.
like, I'm against this product in virtually every way.
So
possible.
Dave's
I
saying he doesn't want microchips injected into the COVID testing process. See what I did there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very
What if your
good.
phone has 5G? Oh my God.
I was going to say the 5G reception's
Good
amazing.
Lord.
though.
Good Lord. Yeah. NRF
I
52
love a good-
5. Oh God. Anyway, sorry. Silly.
I love a good conspiracy. Oh, imagine if the conspiracy theory, the people who, the government's tracking me. Imagine
Yeah.
they could really get hold of this.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. I think there's other people in the thread calling saying it should be banned and stuff like that. It's just disgusking from an environmental
It's not
point
my
of view.
not my favorite.
But then again, I am pro-libertarian, freedom to do whatever you want. So, if you want to sell this to suckers, well, and kill the environment at the same time.
we should get some e-waste people on here at some point. Like,
Yes.
I think about,
yes,
like-
that would be good.
I think about the stuff that I've built, like the prototypes that
Yep.
didn't work. Some of them are ending up at a landfill, right? And
Yeah, of course.
I tell
Yeah,
myself that
countless
like
things.
the things that I build, I try and build things that I believe in and that are going to help the world and that are hopefully have
But
longevity.
at least that's a one. But that is a one-off, and it's leading towards a goal of producing a useful product.
That's right, yes.
So I've got no, I got no problems with, doing 10 spins of a board and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I know,
It's like,
but it's just a moral.
it's a one-off thing.
It's a moral dilemma
Yeah,
that I
I
have,
know.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
like it is
yeah,
something
yeah.
that's
Yeah, of
part of our
course.
industry.
Yep.
It's something that we
Yep.
gloss
agree.
over a little bit. I
Yep.
collect a lot of e-waste. You save e-waste. Dave, you're the the savior of much
Yep.
e-waste, right?
Right, I
There's-
try and save as much
there's
as
your
I can, and I
excuse.
give it away and
There-
stuff.
yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
no.
Did we talk
no.
about? I think last time we were on, did we talk about Lewis and speaking of less waste and less stuff, as you'd repair it. But did we talk last time about
right to repair?
Right to repair? Yeah, we talked about that a couple times. But now that the WAS is on board,
The WAS is on board, and Australia is a thing. Now, I've got videos on my second channel and
I
also
saw
on
that.
main channel
That's right.
video.
You did the conference, right?
Kyle with iFixit.
That's right. Yeah.
I upload on my main channel a video with Kyle talking. He's great.
Yeah.
I highly recommend watching that video. Kyle iFixit talk about the right to repair and stuff like that. It's fantastic. So we actually had our first conference here in Australia.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't go to because we're locked down.
Sure.
But
yeah.
all the full videos are over on my second channel. So
Great. We will link
go
to
and
those.
check it out.
And I think that repair is important, right? For having for reducing e-waste, right? I mean, like for reducing some of the stuff that we do. Like the yeah. We should, we'll hopefully cover that in the future here on the show.
The interesting thing about is not just on board. The fact that he told the story about how for at least 10 years Apple was an open source company, right? It was complete, like you got the schematics for the Apple II. You got these schematics for the Apple I, the Apple II, right? All the service information, all the code listings, the ROM dumps. For the basic and everything else, it was completely open source and completely repairable.
Yeah.
So that's, and there's no reason why a company can't take that stance and actually be successful. No, come on. It's like, no, I think there's heaps of industries. Yep.
I was rubbing my fingers together. People couldn't see that, but I was saying money, but yeah.
As if releasing a PDF schematic for your new Apple Fruity iPhone or whatever is going to, help people copy it. It's not, right? There's already bloody Apple, iPhone clones in the, the Shenzhen market, right? So it's not going to help them in any way, really. It's just, it's just dumb. There's, companies are going to figure this out eventually, that this is a differentiator. And once a few start doing it, others will jump on board as well.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to watch.
Yeah.
I started watching some of the Kyle at iFixit. I haven't watched the other ones yet, but you have a couple on there, right? You have a couple other.
Oh yeah, there. I
you did like a
edited
rebroadcast,
few, and then there's the full transmit, and then there's the full panel. Oh, there's a full day panel discussion of four, and it's in 4 different parts.
Great.
So it's like the full 6 hours or something worth of footage if you want to watch the whole thing.
Great.
Just like being there. So yep.
Just like being there, just like you all who are watching this for an hour and 7 minutes, it feels like you're in the room with Dave and I.
Yep.
Even though we're many, many miles apart.
The lab.
Yeah.
Your room, you still got that boring backdrop.
I do, yeah.
Come on, at least I've got a Back to the Future poster. Come on. I mean,
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, well. I will be, a couple more weeks.
When are you moving? A couple of more weeks? And you'll be
a couple
in the
more
new
weeks.
house?
We'll see.
How long will it take you to set up your lab?
These are great questions, Dave. Great questions.
Yep.
I have the entire week blocked
Which
off.
comes first? Does the lab come first, or does the recording studio come first? I better take this.
Okay, it's the lab.
No. I'll let it. No, it's all right. Phone, if you can hear that.
We can definitely hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think lab first, just because I gotta get, I was just telling someone about this. I just recommended the Zoom H1, which is the travel mic that both Dave and I use. That's a handheld mic. I just recommended it to a friend, and I was telling him how many episodes of the Amp Hour have been recorded with a shoe being used as the as the tripod for it. So, yep. So, anywhere can be a lab if you want it to be, or any recording studio rather.
And a sock as well.
That's right, as a pop filter. That's right. Yeah. The battle days. I don't miss traveling, Dave. I got to say.
Oh, I can remember that. I was looking through some photos like a couple of months back, and I found a photo of the old when I used to record the Amp Hour at home.
Oh yeah.
And I had the gigantic couch pillows up to try and you
created like a little igloo for the microphone. Yeah.
Igloo for the for the microphone using a giant couch pillows. Yeah. Oh boy, those were the days.
Yes, they were.
Yep.
Well,
cool.
Good times are ahead of us, man. I am excited
Excellent.
for the future, especially because real estate's done now. So that's really exciting.
Yes, excellent. Now you, as I said, I sent you before. All you need now is the American flag and a shotgun.
That's right. Get off my lawn.
My lawn. Well, congratulations,
Yeah, thanks.
new homeowner.
We'll talk to you from the new dig soon. Bye, everyone.
Catch you next time.